Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rajinder Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Shivaji College, Delhi University. In this module, we will discuss about motivation theories. Outline of this module is learning objectives, Herzberg's two-factor theory, McGregor's theory X and theory Y, Ochi's theory Z, three-need model, morale and summary. The objectives of this module are to understand various theories of motivation and to develop conceptual understanding of morale. Meaning, nature and importance of motivation and Maslow's need hierarchy theory has been discussed in the previous module. This module deals with some other important theories of motivation, which include two-factor theory, McGregor's theory X and theory Y, Ochi's theory Z and three-need model. Concept of morale and factors affecting morale has also been discussed in this module. Now, first of all, we will discuss about Herzberg's two-factor theory. Frederick Herzberg's two-factor theory is based on a study of 200 engineers and accountants in United States. Results of this study revealed that fulfillment or non-fulfillment of certain needs may have different impact on the satisfaction level of employees. The respondents were asked some questions about their experience on the job. They were asked about the incidents or circumstances when they felt exceptionally good or exceptionally bad about the job. By analyzing the description given by the respondents, two sets of factors related to job situation were revealed. First being maintenance or hygiene factors and other being motivational factors. Now, what is maintenance factors? Maintenance factors are those which are not responsible for increasing the satisfaction level of the employees, but their absence will really have a negative impact on the same. Thus, these factors are important for maintaining a reasonable level of satisfaction. Once an employee is dissatisfied with the job, increase in the maintenance or hygiene factors will not help in increasing his motivation or satisfaction. But if these factors are not maintained, it will further increase the level of dissatisfaction. That is why these factors are also called as dissatisfiers. Herzberg stated that these factors are related with the work environment. If people are not happy with the working condition, it will surely have a negative impact on their satisfaction level. Next is motivational factors. On the other hand, feeling of satisfaction and happiness is related with the other set of factors, that is motivational factors. These factors are related with job itself. Presence of motivational factors increases the job satisfaction and happiness among the employees, but their absence will not have any negative impact on the same. Thus, presence and increase in these factors is necessary to improve the satisfaction, which will help in increasing the efficiency of the employees. Following table gives a summary of two types of factors. Maintenance factors include policy and administration, technical supervision, interpersonal relations with supervisor, interpersonal relations with peers, interpersonal relations with subordinates, salary, job security, personal life, working condition and status. Whereas motivating factors include achievement, recognition, advancement, growth opportunities, responsibilities and work itself. Managers can really benefit from this theory of motivation. It has an indication that overemphasis on the improvement of working conditions may sometimes be a waste if employees are not happy with the job itself. It may be more necessary to enrich the job for increased satisfaction, giving more responsibilities, making the job worthier, giving due credits to the achievers and performers are great motivators. Thus, on the basis of this theory, employees can be divided in two categories, that is, motivation seekers and maintenance seekers. If an employee is satisfied and happy with the content of the job itself, he may ignore some of the problems related with the work environment. On the other hand, an employee satisfied with the factors related to work environment will be less interested in job enrichment. Management can make use of this theory in making motivation plans for the employees. Now, next is criticism of this theory. Two-factor theory of motivation has been criticized on the following grounds. First one is small sample size. Sample consisting of only 200 respondents is too small to represent the population for the study. Result of the study based on such a small sample cannot be generalized. Then next is defective methodology. Research method adopted for the study is biased prone itself. Motivation factors are related with the employees himself, whereas maintenance factors are related with other situations. Normally, respondents will try to give credit of positivity to himself, whereas any negativity will be attributed to the others. This may be the reason of satisfiers being associated with the job and dissatisfiers with the environment. Thus, response may be biased. Next is factors are not definite. Two types of factors are not clearly differentiated. One particular factor may fall within different categories for different persons. For one, salary may be a motivational factor, whereas for other, it may be maintenance factor. Moreover, it is doubtful that one type of factor's influence is in one direction only. Absence of maintenance factor is responsible for decrease in satisfaction, but vice versa may also be true, at least partially. The next is overemphasis on satisfaction. Satisfaction doesn't mean performance. This theory states the impact of various factors on the satisfaction level of the employees, but not on their performance level. It is not necessary that increased satisfaction level always lead to improved performance. Next, we will discuss McGregor's theory X and theory Y. Douglas McGregor, a well-known psychologist, developed two contrasting theories related to human behavior. He named these theories as theory X and theory Y. These theories are based on different sets of assumptions regarding human nature. These two sets of assumptions depict two extremes of human behavior. Theory X. Theory X is based on the traditional approach to the human behavior. The managers hold pessimistic assumptions of an average worker. Following are the assumptions about an average employee in theory X. First is average employee dislikes work. He will always try to avoid working whenever he gets chance. He is not concerned with the organization. Second is employees are lazy. To get the work done, management has to apply strict supervision and control mechanism. Sometimes threatening and punishment is also required. Third one is employee has little or no ambition. He doesn't want to make any effort to grow in life or career. Next, he doesn't want to assume any responsibility. He always seeks supervision or guidance and direction. Then employees are self-centered. Employees give priority to self-interest and is indifferent towards the interest of the organization. All the assumptions of theory X are negative. In the light of above assumptions, management will tend to be inclined towards autocratic style of leadership because average employee is not so ambitious and enthusiastic. Management can't expect his voluntary participation. Moreover, to make the employees work for the organization, all sort of motivational techniques are to be assumed, be it rewards for contribution or punishment for non-performers. Thus, a carrot and stick style of management is permissible. Strict control and supervision is also required. Now we will have a comparison of Herzberg's model and Maslow's theory. Herzberg's model is said to be an extension to the Maslow model because a close comparison between the two reveals that Herzberg's two sets of factors actually divide Maslow's 5 sets of need into two categories. In Maslow's need hierarchy, Bottom three sets of needs, that is physiological, safety and social, are actually Herzberg's maintenance factors, whereas upper two sets of needs, that is esteem and self-actualization, are the Herzberg's motivating factors. Actually, Herzberg says that if employees have already achieved a reasonable level of economic and social security, for them the ultimate motivators shall be the esteem and self-actualization needs. Thus, lower needs become maintenance factors because they must be satisfied to maintain a certain level of satisfaction. In economically developed economies, where physiological and safety needs of employees are satisfied, they are no longer the motivators. Now we will discuss theory Y. Theory Y is totally opposite to theory X. It is based on optimistic assumptions of human behavior. This theory presumes that an average human being is not so unreliable and lazy in nature, but it is the management which sometimes fails to secure required level of commitment of employees towards the organization. Employees, if motivated properly, would really work creatively for the organization. Thus, this theory emphasizes on the employee management cooperation for better results. Theory Y is based on following assumptions about an average employee. First is, employee doesn't dislike work inherently. Work is natural activity for the employees, just like a play. If the circumstances are favorable, employees will like to work. Then next is self-control. External control or supervision is not required to get the work done from the employees. The employees work with self-control for the achievement of targets for which they are committed. The next is commitment and rewards. If employees are properly rewarded for their achievements, they will be committed to the organization and the work. Their commitment is directly associated with the rewards associated with their achievement. Then, avoidance of responsibility and lack of ambition is not inherent. It is the result of experience. If proper conditions are created, employees not only learns to accept responsibility but seeks it. Next is creativity. Creativity, imagination and innovation capabilities are not only limited to a few people but distributed amongst a large population. And last is intellectual potentialities. People have unlimited intellectual potential. In the modern industrial scenario, they are partially utilized. Next is critical appraisal of theory X and theory Y. Theory X and theory Y represent two extremes of human behavior. They form an outer limit within which human nature can vary. Major criticism of theory X and theory Y is that they have oversimplified the human behavior. It is presumed that people belong to one of the two ends, either this way or other way. But in reality, none of the theory can be fully applied to any human being. Normally, human behavior is a blend of traits depicted by two theories, and the degree of applicability of traits of a particular theory will vary from man to man. Still, this theory forms a basis for the management to design the mechanism of motivation and leadership, depending on the nature of workforce with respect to the assumptions of this theory. Theory X is believed to be applicable more to unskilled labor, whereas theory X is presumed to be applicable more to the skilled employees. But neither of the theories is applicable at all levels and in all situations. Therefore, management should use a combination of theory X and theory Y to motivate the employees at various levels of the organization. Ochi's theory. William Ochi developed theory Z. It is said to be an integrated theory of motivation. It was developed after making comparison of Japanese and American management practices. Theory Z emphasizes on the importance of quality of life and humanism within the organization. Organizations, being a complex system consisting of humans, must give importance to the long-term well-being of the employees for better productivity. Main features of a type Z organizations are as follows. First is strong organization employees bond. Emphasis should be on creating a strong bond between the company and the employees. There are many ways which can be used by the management for this purpose. Employees' commitment and loyalty can be increased by giving them job security. Efforts should be made to understand and satisfy various needs of the employees. Fear of getting retrenched should be eliminated by incorporating other ways of cost cutting during adverse conditions. Non-financial motives along with financial motives should also be used. Then second is collective decision making. Employees participation is one of the prime features suggested by Auchi. Participation in decision making makes the employees feel themselves more worthy and important for the organization. It creates a sense of responsibility and increases the commitment level of employees towards the objectives which have been set with their own involvement. Suggestions and views of the employees should be invited, especially for the matters related to them. Incentive plan may also be framed after due consultation with the employees. Next is cooperation and mutual trust. Mutual trust between individuals and groups within the organization is an important characteristic of an effective organization. Openness and transparency should be ensured for better interperson and intergroup relations. Employees should have faith in decisions of the management. This will help in reducing resistance and facilitating change. Industrial unrest can also be reduced by minimizing conflicts with increased mutual trust. Then human resource development. Management must work for the career advancement and development of its human resources. Full utilization of potential of workforce is possible if emphasis is given on proper training, career planning and growth opportunities. Then informal control system. Formal superior subordinate system of control should be avoided. Informal control where employees participation is encouraged help in creating an environment of mutual trust and a sense of loyalty and commitment. Now next topic is 3-need model. The 3-need model of motivation was developed by David McClelland. According to McClelland, motivation is based on 3 types of needs, namely need for achievement, need for power and need for affiliation. Need for achievement. Some people are driven by the achievement needs more by any other thing. Need for achievement is the drive to grow and excel in one's life. Getting recognition is the prime motive for them. The achievers are the people who like the challenges and don't afraid from taking calculated risk. Situations having moderate risk are more preferred by the achievers. They avoid the situation where the degree of risk is very low because the success in this situation is quite sure and will not be a real test of their capabilities. Similarly, highly risky situation is also avoided because of the fear of failure or the success by chance. They want to do the things better than how others do or better than the way it has been done before. They use their skills and imagination to accomplish the task in the best possible manner. They give more preference to the performance and achieving the targets more than to the reward for their achievement. This need for achievement is not present in all individuals. Second is need for power. Power need is the desire to be in command. People with this need want to have the authority over others. They want to be in such a position where they can influence others. They are more concerned with compliance than approval. According to McClelland, power may be divided into 2 categories: institutional power and personalized power. Institutionalized power is used for social benefits of large number of people, whereas personalized power is used only for the personal gain. For the organization, institutional power is considered to be more effective. which manager use for the benefit of the organization, not for one's own benefit. Third one is need for affiliation. Desire to be accepted by others give rise to the need for affiliation. People with affiliation need get more satisfaction when they are socially accepted and relevant. Their preference is approval, not power and recognition. They value other people's need, feelings, etc. They are keen to build relationship with others. The people with affiliation need like cooperative environment more than the competitive one. They are more effective when working in a team. The leaders with affiliation need may not be effective in getting the things done because their desire of getting approval from others may affect the objectivity in their decision making. Next topic in this module is morale. Morale is a mental state of a human being which determines his willingness to participate in the efforts aiming at accomplishment of tasks assigned to him. Level of passion and commitment of a player, enthusiasm of army personnel, and commitment of an employee in the organization all depends on the morale. A person with lower morale will show symptoms like lack of interest, laziness, and pessimism, whereas high morale will be depicted by enthusiasm, loyalty, and cooperation, etc. Filippo described morale as a mental condition or attitude of individual and groups which determines their willingness to cooperate. Good morale is evidenced by employee enthusiasm, voluntary conformation with regulations and orders, and a willingness to cooperate with others in the accomplishment of an organization's objectives. In the organization, employees' morale will have a great bearing on his loyalty, commitment, participation, efficiency, productivity, etc. It has a great bearing on the overall working environment and industrial relations. If the organization is able to keep the morale of employees high, it may avoid many workforce related problems like conflicts, resistance, absenteeism, and labor turnover, etc. Now we will discuss factors determining morale. First is satisfaction level. Satisfaction has a great bearing on the morale. If organization takes care of various needs of the employees and they are reasonably satisfied with the job related situation, their morale will also be high. Factors like job security, incentives, recognition, etc. increase the level of satisfaction and are instrumental in determining satisfaction level among employees. Next is expectations. The perception of employees towards the reward system and the expected reward itself determines the level of morale. If the employee expects the adequate reward for his commitment, his morale will be high and vice versa. Degree of freedom. Strict supervision by the management at the workplace creates a feeling of pressure among employees. Employees want a certain level of freedom to work without pressure. To keep their morale high, strict supervision should be avoided if possible. Then, nature of work. A bit of challenging and creative work may increase the morale of employees. Routine type of work may bring monotony and boredom among them. Last is participation. Participation of employees in decision making creates a sense of importance among them. Their involvement in decision making and goal setting is helpful in keeping their morale high. Summary of the module. In Frederick Herzberg's two-factor theory, two sets of factors related to job situation were revealed, first being maintenance or hygiene factors and other being motivational factors. Maintenance factors are those which are not responsible for increasing the satisfaction level of the employees, but their absence will really have a negative impact on the same. These factors are related with the work environment. On the other hand, feeling of satisfaction and happiness is related with the other set of factors, that is motivational factors. These factors are related with the job itself. Presence of motivational factors increase the job satisfaction and happiness among the employees, but their absence will not have any negative impact on the same. Managers can really benefit from this theory of motivation. It has an indication that overemphasis on the improvement of working condition may sometimes be waste if employees are not happy with the job itself. Douglas McGregor's theory X and theory Y are based on two different sets of assumptions regarding human nature. Theory X is based on the traditional approach to the human behavior. The managers hold pessimistic assumptions of an average worker. Theory Y is totally opposite to the theory X. It is based on optimistic assumptions of human behavior. This theory presumes that an average human being is not so unreliable and lazy in nature. Ochi's theory Z emphasizes on the importance of quality of life and humanism within the organization. Organizations, being a complex system consisting of humans, must give importance to the long-term well-being of the employees for better productivity. The three need model of motivation was developed by David McClelland is based on three types of needs, namely need for achievement, need for power and need for affiliation. Thank you.